The truth men learn, too late. Every man eventually faces a moment that changes him forever. Not a breakup, not betrayal, something deeper. A moment where he realizes that the world never rewarded his softness. It punished it. He gave love freely. He gave attention naturally. He gave loyalty without hesitation. He believed that being genuine was enough. And yet, the more he gave, the faster she pulled away. This is where most men break. They start believing something is wrong with them. They assume they weren't good enough, strong enough, handsome enough. But the truth is far simpler. She didn't lose interest because you lacked value. She lost interest because you lacked discipline. Women are not drawn to warmth. They are drawn to men who can withhold warmth. The man who is cold is not cold because he lacks love. He is cold because his love is earned, never given away. He is a man who does not beg, does not chase, does not crumble. A man whose attention is rare. A man whose presence cannot be manipulated. A man whose peace cannot be purchased. This man becomes unforgettable. This man becomes the ghost she can't stop thinking about. This man becomes the standard she compares every future man to. And it all begins with one shift. He stops being emotionally available on demand. Why women crave the cold man. A woman's attraction is not built on logic. It's built on emotional tension. She doesn't fall in love with comfort. She falls in love with contrast. Contrast between chaos and calm, between desire and denial, between closeness and distance. The man who is warm all the time kills contrast, kills tension, kills desire. The cold man, however, he introduces uncertainty. He introduces silence. He introduces that rare, intoxicating question. Why doesn't he need me? That question is the spark of obsession. Because for the first time, she has met a man she cannot predict. A man she cannot fully understand. A man she cannot control. To a woman, that is irresistible. Not because she wants to dominate him, but because she wants to earn him. A woman values what she must work for, what she must think about, what she must feel her way toward. Warmth is appealing, but coldness is unforgettable. It forces her into emotional awareness. It makes her pay attention. It makes her invest energy, not just receive it. And humans always value what they invest in. How predictability destroys attraction. Most men destroy their own chances without realizing it. They respond quickly. They text too much. They over-explain. They reveal all feelings immediately. They chase affection with effort instead of presence. This creates predictability. Predictability creates safety, and safety creates boredom. A woman does not fantasize about predictable men. She fantasizes about men who disrupt her emotional rhythm. A man who responds when he wants to respond. Who speaks with intention instead of impulse. Who gives warmth in rare, unforgettable moments. Who withholds it the second she disrespects him. This unpredictability is not manipulation. It is masculine discipline. It signals that your emotions belong to you, not to her. It signals that your value is internal, not dictated by her approval. It signals that you are a man on a mission, not a man orbiting around her moods. Predictability makes you a comfort pillow. Unpredictability makes you a storm. Women don't dream about pillows. Coldness is not cruelty. It is control. A weak man thinks coldness means being rude, distant, or dismissive. A strong man understands. Coldness is emotional control, not emotional absence. Coldness means you don't react to provocations, you don't chase when she pulls away, you don't explain yourself unnecessarily, you don't reward disrespect, you don't give affection automatically, you don't collapse just because she withdraws, you don't fold when she tests your boundaries. Coldness is not punishment. Coldness is standards. It is the quiet expectation that the people in your life must treat you with respect if they want to experience your warmth. Warmth without control is weakness. Warmth with discipline is power. A cold man can love deeply, but only when the woman has demonstrated she's worthy of warmth. This selective warmth is what creates value. It makes her feel like, I had his attention once. How do I get it again? That is the beginning of emotional pull. That is the beginning of respect, because now your warmth has become a reward, not a default. The psychology of female obsession. Women do not obsess over men who give love freely. They obsess over men who make them feel uncertainty, feel longing, feel effort, feel pursuit, feel absence. Absence is the most powerful emotional trigger known to the female mind. When a man pulls away, he creates mental vacuum, emotional curiosity, ego disruption attachment, hunger, fear of loss, desire to reclaim power, self-evaluation, comparisons with other women, romantic nostalgia, and a sudden awareness of his value. A woman's obsessive loop begins the moment she cannot predict you. What is he thinking? Why isn't he texting? Does he still want me? Is he seeing someone else? Did I lose him? Was I not enough? Did I make a mistake? These questions do not weaken her, they deepen her involvement. The man who creates emotional movement becomes the man she cannot forget, not out of pain, but out of fascination. Why women test men they like. If a woman tests you, it's because she feels something. If she stops testing, she feels nothing. Women test men to evaluate their masculine stability. She wants to understand. Can you hold emotional pressure? Will you crumble under stress? Do you need her approval? Will you bend your values for her affection? Are you consistent under fire? Do you abandon your mission when challenged? Is your masculinity earned or fragile? Every sarcastic comment, every delayed reply, every emotional withdrawal, every pointless argument, every mood swing, it's all pressure testing, not consciously, instinctively. A woman wants to know if you can lead her, and leadership is proven in storms, not sunshine. The coal man stays grounded through all of it, not indifferent, not arrogant, just unmoved. This stability is what earns female respect. The man she can't control is the man she can't forget. Every woman has a story, a man she can't forget, a man who got into her head, a man who made her feel different, a man who left a permanent imprint. This man is almost always the same type. Emotionally disciplined, detached from outcome, not easily impressed, unpredictable but intentional, hard to win, harder to keep, impossible to control. This man becomes unforgettable, not because he tries to be, but because his presence forces her to evolve. He challenges her, he disrupts her patterns, he breaks her illusions, he refuses to be manipulated, he makes her earn every inch of intimacy. He never sacrifices his identity for affection. This creates a type of emotional gravity that weak men cannot replicate. When a woman meets a man like this, the experience changes her. Why? Because she didn't meet a boy chasing validation. She met a man protecting his sovereignty. How men lose themselves in love. Let's be brutally honest. Most men destroy themselves in the early stages of attraction. They meet a woman they like, and suddenly, they abandon their routines. They stop pursuing goals. They over-prioritize her time. They crave her approval. They reveal too much too soon. They chase instead of attract. They invest emotionally before she has. They make her the center of their universe. This is emotional suicide. A woman cannot respect a man who abandons himself for her. She may enjoy the attention, but she will never feel desire for the man who needs her more than she needs him. Your masculine edge disappears the moment you choose her over your mission. Women don't fall in love with men who give everything. They fall in love with men who are everything. Men who carry identity. Men who walk with purpose. Men who live with direction. Men who do not shift their entire lives just to win affection. A man who loses himself loses her respect. A man who keeps himself gains her admiration. Coldness, as a tool for self-respect. True coldness is not about hurting her. It is about healing yourself. It is the refusal to give your emotional world to someone who hasn't earned it. It is the discipline to walk away from disrespect without discussion. It is the commitment to your mission above all desires. Coldness is the masculine armor that protects your identity. It teaches you patience, silence, resilience, self-control, emotional independence, internal validation, strategic presence, boundaries, self-worth. It forces you to confront yourself, to become a man who does not fear solitude, to become a man who does not need feminine approval, to become a man who leads himself before leading anyone else. Coldness is not a performance, it is a lifestyle where your value does not fluctuate based on someone's attention. The shift that terrifies women. There is a moment every woman dreads, and every strong man understands. It's the moment she realizes you used to want her, but now you don't. This is the emotional equivalent of an earthquake. It shakes her confidence, it disrupts her ego, it destabilizes her perceived power, it forces her into self-reflection. Women move emotionally faster than men, but they regret emotionally slower. You detach before she notices. She notices long after you detach. And when she does, the fear hits. Because now, she has to chase, she has to earn, she has to try, she has to question, she has to compete, she has to prove. This is the reversal of roles. This is where the cold man becomes unforgettable, not because he punishes her, but because he evolved beyond her influence. The man who walks away first. There is nothing more powerful than a man who can walk away from what he wants, not out of anger, not out of ego, out of self-respect. When you walk away first, you show that your heart is not for sale. You show that you are not controlled by desire. You show that your peace is your priority. You show that you choose dignity over dopamine. You show that you will not beg for affection. This terrifies her. It also attracts her, because she now sees that your love is not a bargain, it is a privilege, and privileges are earned, not given. The man who leaves with dignity becomes the man she chases with intensity. Why cold men become legends. Think about every man women talk about years later. He wasn't the nicest, he wasn't the most available, he wasn't the most emotional, he was the hardest to win, he was the hardest to read, he was the hardest to influence, he was the man with gravity, the man who kept his edge, the man who moved with purpose, the man who didn't need validation, the man whose distance meant more than another man's affection. He becomes legendary because he represented a rare archetype, the man who loved without losing himself, the man who cared without collapsing, the man who gave without giving himself away, the man who could walk away at any moment. This man cannot be forgotten. How to become the man? Her soul remembers. This journey is not about acting cold, it's about becoming cold, becoming disciplined, becoming grounded, becoming sovereign. A cold man is forged through solitude, purpose, intentional silence, mission-driven action, self-awareness, independence from validation, emotional restraint, detachment from outcome, high boundaries, inner stillness. You stop needing love to feel alive. You stop needing attention to feel worthy. You stop needing her to feel complete. And when you reach this place, a strange reversal occurs. Women start chasing you, not because you manipulated them, but because you mastered yourself. Coldness is self-mastery, and women crave men who have mastered themselves. Why she will always return. The man who acts cold from insecurity loses her. The man who acts cold from strength transforms her. She returns not because you manipulated her, but because you activated something inside her. Curiosity, longing, regret, respect, desire, mystery, challenge, submission, admiration. The cold man forces her to confront the truth. She did not lose a man. She lost a standard she may never find again. And that realization stays with her, even if she moves on, even if you never return. even if she pretends she doesn't care. A cold man leaves emotional fingerprints. She will remember your silence. She will remember your discipline. She will remember your restraint. She will remember your absence. She will remember the moment she realized she no longer had access to your soul. And it will haunt her, not because you hurt her, but because you healed yourself. The final truth. Men must accept. You were never meant to be soft first. You were never meant to be vulnerable first. You were never meant to be emotionally available first. You were meant to be disciplined first, mission-driven first, purpose-centered first, self-respecting first. Only then does your warmth become valuable. Only then does your affection mean something. Only then does your love become a privilege. Coldness protects you. Coldness builds you. Coldness reveals her truth. Coldness strengthens your identity. Coldness forces her to step into her feminine polarity. Coldness keeps you from betraying yourself for validation. A cold man is not heartless. He is heart-controlled. And that is the difference between the man women use and the man women chase. The cold man is the healed man. Let this sink in. Coldness is not a game. Coldness is not manipulation. Coldness is not revenge. Coldness is clarity. It is the state of a man who no longer needs anyone to choose him, because he has already chosen himself. When you reach this level, your presence becomes rare, your energy becomes valuable, your silence becomes powerful, your boundaries become unbreakable, your mission becomes louder than your emotions, your absence becomes unforgettable, your standards become undeniable, your identity becomes magnetic, your masculine frame becomes the anchor women gravitate toward. You stop being a man chasing affection. You become a man who commands respect. And the women who step into your life will feel it instantly. They are not meeting a boy seeking love. They are meeting a man who is love. Disciplined, selective, unshakable, sovereign. This is the man she remembers. This is the man she respects. This is the man she fears losing. This is the man whose coldness burns into her soul. And this, brother, this is the man you were always meant to become.